Hello everyone and welcome to the walkthrough for Hungaroring. So we'll do the same format as we do every time. We'll go lap from the inside, lap from the outside, and then we'll go corner to corner to check line, breaking point, reference, everything that I could think of. We'll tell you for each corner. Try to help you as much as possible. So we'll start from the lap from the inside, and while we're doing the lap, try to take a look at throttle input, brake input, steering, line, and after that we'll go from the outside so you'll get an even better probably view for the line. So let's start with the flying lap. Was a 142.8, and then we'll go back, start that same lap, and we'll go from the outside view. Okay. So this lap was done in hot lap mode, 20 degrees. It will be different from this week. This week we have variable weather, so it could be raining, could be dry, but could also have a green track. So the time will change a lot from this time. You could, on a green track, you could be a lot slower compared to your optimal track. So just keep that in mind. So if you see that you're on a green track, you will be slower no matter what you do. So just don't be thinking you're slow, but the track condition will change during this session, so you'll need to adapt to the track and change your strategies or to adapt to the weather if it's changed, get to dry to wet, wet to dry. So we have a bunch of things we don't know for this track, but line, braking reference will be very similar. The line will be the same no matter what is it raining or dry. The line is the same in ACC. Breaking point, breaking reference could be different between wet and dry, but between different track, the green track and all that, it will be very similar. So just be careful if it starts to rain. So thing you'll need to do if it's starting to rain, just increase your TC, lower the brake bias, and be gentle on your input. Everything brake, throttle, and steering. You need to be just more careful, more gentle with all those input during the wet. So coming to turn one. Inside. So what I'm using, my braking reference for me will be between the 150 meter board that you see there and the 100 meter board that is just a little bit further. You also have the darker, the rubber patch on the track, but that could change in the track we have. If we have a green track, those will not be there, so just be careful if you're used to use those things.
I have a quick question, Mika.
Yep, go ahead.
Is there a setup change that you do to decrease your braking distance so significantly? Because I could never brake as deep as you without just flying off track. Even on a straightaway braking like this, I just keep, I have to brake at least 3-4 car lengths behind your usual brake markers so that I can make the corner. Is that a setup thing or is that just a technique thing and I suck?
What car do you drive?
I've done the McLaren in optimal conditions, and I still can't make your brake marker.
The
I'm
Evo?
well behind yours. Yeah, the Evo GT3.
What brake bias did you use?
52.4, just like you're using, I think. If I can read that, great.
56, so pretty much the same thing.
Pretty much the same thing.
You
I
trail?
like my traction or my ABS kicks in. I usually use ABS 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
My ABS just kicks in and increases my brake distance, even in a straight line. So is there like a caster thing that you're doing with your setup or to decrease your brake distance?
Caster, I have a max caster on this setup. I don't know if that will change the braking distance. So, are you? I'll have probably to see a video of it. If you're,
Yeah,
because you'll see, I will still brake like almost until the apex, so trail brake a lot.
absolutely. Yeah.
That will help a lot
I don't
too.
I don't have a pressure sensor for my brake, but just a regular old Mazda R5.
Mm-hmm.
But still I can get down to like 10% for the trail braking fairly easily, but
Yeah.
just seems like the straight line braking that you do is just so deep and I just can't replicate it ever.
So are you sure on your setup that you have 100% brake power?
Yeah. Sometimes I dial it back to 99%, depending on the track. But for a track like this, I'd be at 100%. So
Yeah.
I have a lot more difficulty hitting those deep brake markers like you do.
So what I could try, you could send me your setup if you're driving in the Evo, and then I could try that setup to see if I could brake at the same place while trail braking, and if I
Yeah,
could do it, so it will mean that I don't think
it means
setup
that
will
I suck.
change. Not suck. Just need to predict correctly trail braking, I guess.
Yeah,
Trail braking will help a lot. I don't think setup will change a lot on braking distance. It will maybe it will help you carry more speed in the corner.
perhaps.
And
But you don't have like a magical setup like thing that you do to get so deep into the braking zone, eh?
no,
Okay. Question answered.
I rarely make setup. I'm using setup from my team.
Yeah.
So because I'm not good at setup, I'm just too lazy to
Okay.
learn it. I just do like minor change on it, but I don't want to start to play with damper setting and all that. I'll let my team doing it and just use it.
Cool.
But yeah, we'll go slowly and we'll see where I'm going to brake, and we'll see a lot of trail braking for turn one for sure. So you're coming. That will be the longest straight that we have for this track. It's not long, but it's not the longest for this one. So a really twisty track. So let's go slowly. So coming about here. See, I'm just after the rubber mark when it's optimal. So it's like between the 100 and 150. So if we look from the outside, where is it? It's a little bit yes, there. It's almost halfway between the two when you're a little bit closer to the 100. So now let's go slowly and we'll see. So braking, make sure. The thing that might help for the braking, Eric, is the downshift. So try to go fast to the downshift so the motor brake will also help to slow down the car a bit. That would be something that you try. I don't know if you
On
do
the
it.
straightaway corners in this car, I find that works very, very well. But if you're trying to brake into a turn, then I find that slower downshifting doesn't spin the rear end as much. It doesn't lose traction in the rear end as much.
Yeah, like in this car you could do it, but if you're driving the new Ferraris, even a lot better because that car doesn't seem to brake by itself. Just you need to really hit it hard to go down the gear to make it stop that car. But that's something that you could try and check if you do it or not. So going down, straight, braking hard, a straight line as long as possible. Now start to turn slowly here. Then I will release and trail brake. Still on the brake, it's still turning. See, brake, still on it. Trail brake, then back full throttle right after trail brake was done when I got to the apex. So let's watch it one more time. Full speed. So when you're gonna exit the corner, you want to use your exit, but you don't need to use it everything on it. So you'll go on the left, but you don't need to go on the curb that is on the left. Right here. See, I got a little bit loose there, but not too much. But you don't need to go on the curb there at all. The track is wide enough for you. So just go. You could go close, but if you go too wide, you're gonna end the losing time at the end, and it could be a bit slippery if it's start to rain or something on the neck on this week. So just be careful. So you don't need to push too hard there on the exit to maximize your time on your lap. We'll continue to turn. And my braking reference for turn 2 will be the start of the curve. So before the painting, so it's where the concrete start, like the triangle start, just before the somewhere around here. When I'm from the inside, and keep in mind if you're driving a different car, if you have a different field of view of me, those braking reference that I'm using will vary from your car to car and your field of view and your different cameras. Sure. Yeah, so let's go slowly and we'll get to it. So when we are slow, it's before we get to the curve. When you look at for full speed, it's almost when you it look like you're already there because the speed we are going. So it's just before the curve that you're gonna get the brake. And for this corner, you'll see. Let's go slowly. So I'm gonna start the brake. Already starting to turn a bit, and I'm hitting the first apex here. Let the car go. Release the brake. Short shift to second. Just no throttle. That's just to get some more grip on the front, and then you're gonna hit the second apex right here. And then every time we have a turn again, left and right, that's coming closely, we compromise the exit of this one. So you want to exit, not be further than half the track. So even before the white line here, you should not be like maybe a car more. It could be a car on the right more than this. But at this point here, you should not be on the right of the track. You should be back middle or left a bit. So if you take a look at your replay, this is a really good place to see. So you have that white line that will never move, will always be there. So you could compare on that to that where you did you exit on turn 2 to make it turn 3. Because if your line is correct, you could do turn 3 flat out. But your line need to be correct. If you're too much on the right, you will not have enough time to get back on the left and do turn 3 flat. And that will make you lose a lot of time because the car behind you is making me flat. Before turn 4 we have a small straight, but he could try to pass you easily if you don't make this one flat. So let's go back to this corner. We'll check it from top view. So you will see so you want to hit your first apex here, let it go, release the brake, short shift to second to give more grip on the front, and that back full throttle to hit your second apex at the end of the corner here. Then you try to keep it tight because you want to go on the left as much as possible for turn 3, and if you do it correctly, you'll be able to do it flat out to turn 3. So, be careful for this curve on the right. You could touch it a bit, but if you go too much on it, it could get dangerous at one point depending on the car that you're driving. So what I will do during the race, I don't want to push it too much. I could touch like beginning of it here, but I don't want to go all the way up. Just way too risky to bump the car and then get wide and end up somewhere in the barrier left or right. If you check here, yeah, I only touch the first part of it, tiny bit. You don't need to touch it. You're not going to gain time. It's not here that you will gain time by cutting the curb. So just be safe, do your line correctly, and then you'll be able to use the exit here to carry your speed. You have plenty of space left. So track limit will be the end of the curve. I don't think it's the end of the white line. I think it will be the end of the curve. So if you go too wide, probably gonna. This is one play that's easily to invalidate the lap around here, and there's many plays on this track, so you'll need to be careful on the race day to not get track a drive through for a track cut, because it's one of those tracks that you need to be careful of. There's so many plays that it's so easy to invalidate or get a warning for exceeding track limit, and this here it's the first one that's really easy to invalidate a lot. So before we continue, is there any more question, or you want to see back turn 1, 2, or 3? 2 and 2 is pretty technical with the double apex. So if is there anything you need me to go back?
So for turn 2, um, would it, so in the wet specifically, would it be better to go a little wide turn in late and just take the late apex, or is it still good to go for the double apex? Which one would be faster, or
The double apex. So there's
double
two
apex?
ways that you could do this corner. So you have the double apex, or you could keep it tight all the way around. Uh, Double apex will be a bit faster because you'll get a bit more speed on it. But
Okay,
some people could do it with staying tight all the way around. So
okay.
those will be the two that will work. In doing a late apex, I don't think will be faster than the two apex like I just did here.
I've raced this in public lobbies enough times that the late apex only invites a challenge and basically a really tough run out of turn 3 or getting into turn 3. If you're trying to go side by side, you're just inviting your opponent to dive on you here.
Right.
Yeah,
I was thinking along the lines of if I take the late apex, it's actually a little easier to line up the entry to 3. But, okay.
might be the double apex will also do the trick too.
Okay.
If you do the short shift, if you didn't try that, try the short shift. So when you get to the part when you let the car go, you just short, you shift to the second gear, but you're not applying throttle. So that will just give you the extra grip on the to rotate the front and finish the corner. It, it's really good. You need if you never try it, try that trick on that corner. That's one of the corners. It's like similar to Nürburgring, the stadium part, turn one, four,
Yeah, I was
before.
thinking it's something like that. But I was in second throughout. I hadn't tried first and then short shift. So I was also like, I was just waiting for the front end to grip
Mhm.
and then I'd uh, hit the accelerator.
Yeah, some
So,
cars, depending on the driver, you could probably do it in a second all the way around.
yeah,
I prefer going down to one, but that could be also car and driving style. But
right.
both are correct. It's
Yeah.
possible. I know it's possible to stay in second for this corner also.
Yeah.
Okay, next corner. Next corner, turn four. It's also on the exit one corner that you could easily invalidate a lot because you're going to run wide on the exit, because next one, turn 4, is a really fast corner, and get to so again, what I'm using here for my braking reference is the curb on the right. So you could, on a dry, you could brake on it. You'll see I'll go on it, brake, tap the brake, don't shift I think one gear, and then when you get what you want to do here, so you want to get as far right as possible. You tap the brake, slow down the car a bit, but you want to ride this curb. It's not aggressive at all. So those small bump here and the way it made, it's not hard to put your car. The left wheel, you want to put it on a gray stuff like higher curb, and when you want to be back on throttle like before you hit the curb, before you start to cut and close to the orange marker that's there, you want to be back full throttle there, so it will help bring the front of the car up, so less chance to bottom up here, So you just go on that curve like really easily. So let's go slowly here. So get him, tap the brake, don't shift, lift the brake, down 2 gear, and then I just want to ride that one. So I cut it a lot. I was back full throttle when I so let's watch one more time for the inside, but full speed we'll see it's not just a tap of the brake, it's just a little bit longer than a tap. Go down the 2 gear for me, and then back full throttle on the curb. And again, when you exit, you want to use it, your track limit will be the curb. So if you four-wheel pass the red and white curb, you will get an invalidate lap. So here, if your left wheel are on the green, it will be a track cut. And see, I'm just on it, plenty of space, that's pretty safe. Still have a tire width probably on the curb, so that's perfectly fine. Don't need to push more than that for that corner. Is a fast one, so if it's raining, you might not want to be here because it's general thing in the rain. You want to avoid the paint, so this part here will probably be pretty slippy, and the curb just before this corner, you'll need to be careful to not be as aggressive than this. See, I could even cut more here. If you cut more than this here, it will be fine. It will not bump the car if you apply the throttle early, so you could just go with that one easily. Keep it flat. So our next corner, I reference what I'm using is the end of the green and blue barrier that you have on the left. So that's what I'm using. So this corner could be tricky because as you could see, I'm starting to brake, but I'm already trying to turn the car right. But I'm pointing like almost to the last Fanatec GT border, the black one that is in front. So I'm not heading to the direction that I want. So you will need to brake while turning on this one. So be careful. It's a really tricky corner to do. So let's go slowly and just check. So I'm gonna let the car go left, so I'm not fully turning. So trying to maximize what I can do on the brake. As you can see, I never for this corner have a steering straight. I always said like you should try to brake and on a straight line as much as possible, but like here's one corner that's not possible, and those cars have ABS, so that helps a lot for us to be able to do that corner. But let's see, prepare. I just turn it a bit. I let the car go wide, so you start to enter wide, and then here you need to coast. You need to be patient. It should be still coasting, like here. When you look at your replay, you should be like pretty much aligned with the wood structure that is in front. This is one point that you could check on the replay, that you should be back full throttle here. If we go back, brake input and brake throttle input, I will touch a bit on it, but that's just some minor correction that I'm doing while driving. You don't need to do this, is just what I'm doing. I just feel like I need to slow down a bit on the corner or be a tiny bit faster, and just to try to correct the line as much as possible, but that is like trying to minimize that. I don't think about doing this in the corner, just doing it by feel. So what I'm concentrate on too is to hit my braking point correctly, like here. So brake, be late the apex. So around here you should be like just coasting. This is should be coasting, no throttle. But here, back full throttle. And then this exit of the corner again, it's really easy to invalidate the lap again. I think I was like really close on this one. So it will be the curb again. I need to have tire. I still have a bit, so this is fine. And then you come back on the track before you get to the end here, because you don't want to run on the grass. There's a tiny bump here, so this could bump your car a bit. Just not much, but just don't want to take any chance on it. So let's watch one more time, full speed. Okay, the chicane. For this lap, there's two ways to do the chicane. On this lap, I did not do it on purpose, but what it ended up to be doing, I missed my braking point a bit, so I was a little bit late on the brakes, so I couldn't turn the car fast enough to cut the chicane and cut on those triangular sausage here. Usually I want to put my right tire like after the orange bump that is there, so I could almost jump it and then be straight. But on this slide you'll see that my right tire will be on the left of the orange bump that is right there. So this, I'm calling it the safe way. So you don't want to hit those orange on the entry on the right and on the exit on the left. So let's take a look. So going on a curve, taking as much drag as possible here, braking, and you'll see here. So front tire is just on the curb, like right on it. This is the safe way to do this chicane. So coming here, just right before, and same thing on the other one. Just so this is the safe way to do the chicane. It's not the fastest. So on this lap, since I brake a little bit too late, I couldn't turn the car fast enough to get on the cut the chicane more. But I'll show you another lap. So I end up losing like 0.15, so it's not much, but on quali lap, like your 0.1 second can make a difference for a position. So during a quali, I will definitely try to cut that one as much as possible, but during the race, I might run the safe way, like I just did on this lap. You just want to avoid it completely, but be really close. This will be a safe way. If you're doing it this way, it's still fast, and during a race, no one will be able to have a chance on the path for the next corner. If you do it, losing a 10 on the corner, then it's just not enough time before trying to pass there. Don't know if I mentioned the brake point, but my reference for this, I think I forgot to mention, is the curb on the left. So again, when I get to the curb, I'm a little bit too late. So let's go, I think, in the next lap. Yeah, this is not the safest way, but it will be faster. Let's go from the outside and give you a chance to see how much I cut it on this one. So same rear camber fan I was just a tiny bit before, so I slowed down the car a bit more so I could turn the car and put my right tire just at the end of, okay, you see, I don't want to put the tire on the pointiest tip that's not in the middle, but this part, you don't want to have your tire there. You want to have your right tire all the way to the end of it, so this part just go under the car. So if you take a look slowly here.
In the McLaren, did you make any ride height differences just so that you could safely cut these?
My front is at slowest point, and I think the back I have like 72.
Okay.
So it's
And
still
still no problem cutting it, eh?
no. The new McLaren could
Okay.
eat curb like no other probably mid-engine car.
Fair enough.
If you hit it correctly, you could run those pointy bump that you have there. But if you do it wrong, I think somewhere here I did it wrong and it bounced me like really bad. I could check really quickly after this. But and for the second one, the left one that's coming up, you want to do the same thing. So you want to have your left tire to the outside edge as much as possible. Here I see I'm on the middle of it, and so it was still fine for the car. So it's possible to do it. And after this point, I was gaining a time like almost 210 by the end of the next corner. So this will be the fastest way, but not the safest way. Okay, coming to the next corner. For this part, I'm trying to think of not one corner. I don't try to think of this as just this corner. If you look from above, it's like a big section of corners. So you have the one on the bottom of the screen, which is the corner that we're coming, and then you have next, right, left, right. So are you able to see my mouse cursor on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the section from the corner that we're getting in until the exit of, I don't remember the name of corner number, but in the end here, trying to think of this as just one complex, because if you miss one corner here, you're gonna lose time right until that corner. So I'm trying to just thinking of one big, it's not one corner, but I'm trying to think it as is, just because just like momentum, you go left right really fast here. So for the first one, what I'm using here for braking, it will be the pose that you see on the left of my windshield. Here, post there right when you pass the car. So it's where I'm starting to brake. And for that corner, you're gonna do the same thing that we did for turn 4. So I want to ride the curve that is on the left. It's safe to do it. It's slower than turn 4, so it should be good. So I'm gonna get here, and when I'm gonna get close to it, I'm gonna apply a little bit of throttle here, like 10-20%, just to lift the front, and then when you get down to it, you get back full throttle. And again, because we have the same thing that we did for turn 2 and 3, you want to exit middle of the track. You want to compromise this one to have a better exit on for the next one because they are so close together. And here is just a lift. You don't need to brake here, and let's go back just a tiny bit. So you come in here, you do a lift, you have on the left, you have the end of the rail, you have the small cabin with the marshal over there. So those are some marker that you could use that are on the right of it. So you're going to lift here, and now you need to be patient and just let it goes. When you get to the apex like here, back, full throttle. And again, try to not go too wide. Here's one other play that you could exit. And then validate your lap. And the next corner will be flat. So you want to go close to the curb, but don't go too high on it. You see, I'm just touching it. I don't want to go more than that on that curve. You don't need to, and you don't want to. Just too steep. You're going fast. You don't need. You're not gonna gain time. You just have chance. So just be safe. Stay on the like this on the rain. I will probably not even try it, depending on the amount of rain. But I will probably stay down to the white line on the track. This was flat. Again, want to exit middle because we have the right that's coming right after it. So keep it tight, middle of the track, and then again we have that curve. It's a lot of corner here that you're using the beginning of the curve for reference, so they are pretty easy to find on this track. So beginning of the curve again, gonna happen fast. So tap the brake. This is really a tap, and then you just goes until you get to the apex, which is here. On optimal track, you see that it's darker here. So if you look from above, right over here, my car here is darker, so this will be your apex, but you will not be able to probably see those marks in the green track. I guess that will not be there, but if you practice a couple laps on with optimal track, at least you could watch your replay and see if you reach your apex correctly here. So apex, back full throttle, and this is another really bad corner to get a track cut. You want to get again same thing. You don't want to pass the curve. If your tire on the right is over the red and white curve, it will invalidate your lap. And it's really tempting to try it because it's so wide here. So let's go back to that complex one more time from the inside, and we'll watch it full speed. So that's why I'm trying to think it of one corner, because you're just so coming so fast and you're just left right all the time. So you don't really have time. You just like momentum thing for this part of the track. The only question for this section before we get to the final couple corner, three corner. Okay, let's continue. So coming to this corner again, same thing, curve again. So you have nice curve on the right, on the left, sorry, and that's what I'm using. So just before you get to it, it's where you're going to brake. So very similar to other corner that we did before. So coming there, braking hard, straight line. Here we have a chance to bring in straight line, starting to turn, and again I want to ride that curve again, same type of curve. So really close to the grass. I will not try this in the wet for sure. That will be way too much. If you touch the grass there, you're done. So just be really careful. It's dry, optimal. This is fine. You will not invalidate here. Tire are still on the track, so there's no way to invalidate on corner entry. But be careful, if you go a tiny bit more than that, you'll be in the grass and then could jump the car. And then on your exit, same thing, another place that you can validate easily if you go more than the red and white curve that we have there. When my wheels are on the green stuff here, it's really slippery. You see I have to do a correction here because the rear tried kicking a bit. But in the wet, this part will be like ice. So don't go over here if it's wet. Keep it on the track a tiny bit, maybe of the curve. Depends if it's just starting to rain or if it's medium rain, maybe avoid it, the curve completely. So coming to second to last corner. So what I'm using here, there's a lot of people that depending on the time they try to use a shadow on it, but under the banner that it's on the track, but this shadow will change place depending on the race time, so don't try to use that just because it's moving so much. So, and it's you have the banner that's there, but you want to brake when you're underneath it, but it disappears from your view pretty far, pretty quickly from where you need to brake. You need to brake a lot later than that. So you're past the 100 meter, you have the curve on the right, so it will be like beginning, I guess, here, and later, no. So for me, it's mostly by feel, but for this one, but you have, if you look on the, depending on your setup, you might be able to see on the left, it's pretty tiny for me. I don't think I'd look there on VR, it's just too far for me for trying to look at this part here of the green and blue. So for me it's just timing mostly. So I know I pass it. I know I don't see the banner on top. And then on the curve I need to brake. This is the corner in the track that don't have a really good reference for it. But if you look from the outside, if you look at your replay, you should be under the barrier banner that's there. So if you're under it, if you look at your replay, you should be good to make the next one. Coming here, starting to turn, you'll see I'll do a little bit, let the car go wide a bit, then the front tire grip, then back full throttle. It's just a tiny bit, it's not as much like a double apex like I did in turn 2, but you just see going a little bit, but you could keep it pretty tight for this one, it's fine. You don't need to do that. Was a tiny bit here, but will not count on that. It's not gaining a ton of time here, but probably keep it tight, but don't go on the gray stuff here. This one is slippery even in the dry. For some reason, if you go there, I don't know if it unbalanced because it's higher here than there a bit, but if you're trying to apply the power when you have your wheel here, it's really easy to have the rear really loose and slide for this corner exit. So don't go on it, but keep it tight to the white line. So your exit, you don't want to exit too wide because you need to prepare for the next one. Last corner, we want to prepare it because after that we have the longest straight of the track. So you don't want to exit like this is the most that I will go. Don't want to exit and have some tire on the curb or the green stuff that it just there. It will be like pit lane line, the pointed line here. That will be the most for me. I will try to go here and pushing a bit, but I will not try to go more than that because I want to prepare to our last corner, which will be a really important one because turn one is a good place to try a pass. So if you do this one, last one, you could have a run on someone. But a pass will probably happen on the turn because the straight is so short here. So last one, we have a good marker. We have the Marshall stand that it's here. So I'm going to come here. I want to pass it right beside of it. And that's where I'm starting to break, as you can see. So for this one, you enter a late apex. So you try to stay on the left and let the car go. And then you're going to cut to have a good exit for the final. So let's see. So see, I'm going to stay wide, let the car drift a tiny bit. Here's going to drift, and then I want to start here. So when you get to this point, when you're aligned with the Fanatec GT sign that is in front, when it's aligned, just a tiny bit further, like here, when it's aligned with your eye, let's say our helmet, the seat position, that will be where you want to get back full power. So as you can see, I'm back full top power, and I will stay on it until turn one. So full throttle, you could see, and use a tiny bit of the curb. It's fine. You have plenty of space here, no point to go. Alright, and then you want to get back on the track to not bumps on the grass that was just there. Is there any question on any part of the track?
I just wanted to say thanks before I have to head off to dinner. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you, Mikhail.
Second and thanks.